Hello, internet friends! It's fall, and that means soup for dinner. I have two Copycat recipes to show you today that are made in the Crockpot. The first is Olive Garden's chicken gnocchi soup, and the second is Chili's chicken enchilada soup. My family devoured it, so I think it's safe to say it turned out pretty well. If we haven't met before, I'm Laurel, and I've lost 60 pounds on WW, formerly known as Weight Watchers, and I want to show you how livable and delicious this lifestyle is. Okay, let's get to the kitchen. First, I'd like to introduce you to Darth Vader, our crockpot. Fun fact, the button panel will melt when it's too close to a burner on the stove. I'm starting with the Olive Garden chicken gnocchi soup. I'm cutting up 1 pound of chicken breast into bite-sized pieces. I'm also dicing up 6 stalks of celery into small pieces. This may be too much celery, but we love celery. Add the chicken to the bottom of the crock pot, then toss in the celery, 1 cup of shredded carrots, half an onion diced. I'm using 1 cup of frozen diced onions because chopping onions makes me cry like a baby. 3 cloves of minced garlic, or 3 teaspoons of garlic paste like I'm using. 4 cups of chicken broth, 1 teaspoon of ground thyme, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and a bit of salt. You definitely don't need much. Give it a good stir, then pop on the lid. This will cook on high for about 3.5 hours. When the time is up, we're going to make a cornstarch slurry with 2 cups of milk. Get a 1/4 cup of cornstarch, mix it in with 2 cups of your milk. I'm using unsweetened cashew milk because it's very creamy, but you could use half and half or even heavy cream if you want. You really want this smooth. Add the milk and cornstarch to the crock pot. Then add a 16-ounce package of potato gnocchi. Make sure to break up the clusters of gnocchi because they won't separate in the soup on their own. I didn't do that, and we had quite a few large clusters of gnocchi. Next, add a few handfuls of torn up spinach. I think I used about 3 cups, and it definitely wasn't enough. This will cook for another hour on high to let the gnocchi cook and let the cornstarch thicken the broth. This recipe makes 4 huge bowls of soup. Each bowl is 8 points on green and 7 points on blue and purple. I garnish mine with 1 point of reduced fat Parmesan cheese. This soup is amazing the second day as well. Next up, Chili's chicken enchilada soup. I'm starting with 1 cup of frozen diced onions. Again, I will do everything I can to avoid dicing onions. You can also use fresh diced onion, but give it a saute for a few minutes first. Next, I add 2 cups of chicken broth, 2 cloves of garlic, or 2 teaspoons of garlic paste, a 10-ounce can of red enchilada sauce, 4 ounces of tomato sauce, a ½ tablespoon of chicken soup base, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 8 ounces of Velveeta shreds, and 4 extra thin tortillas diced up fairly small. The original Chili's recipe uses masa, but I wasn't about to buy a whole bag of masa for 1 pot of soup. That's ridiculous. Instead, the corn tortillas that I already have in my pantry will break up while the soup cooks, doing exactly the same thing that the masa would have done. I'm cooking mine on high for 2 hours to start, but I switch it to low for another hour after that. I'm cooking up 1.5 pounds of chicken breast because we intend for this soup to be a meal tonight. I'm pretty sure the chili soup doesn't have this much chicken in it, and because I want the chicken to be juicy and tender, I'm cooking it up first. Making sure to let it rest for about 10 minutes. Then I dice it up and to add it to the soup right before serving. You could also use Tyson fully cooked grilled chicken. That stuff is incredibly juicy. This pot of soup serves 4. Each serving is 9 points on green and 7 points on blue and purple. You can top this soup with whatever you want, but at Chili's, they top it with crispy tortilla strips and a bit of extra shredded cheddar cheese. Today, I'm topping mine with half a bag of WW nacho tortilla chips for 1 point. Well, that's all I have to share with you today. If either of these looked yummy to you today, go ahead and click that like button. It's an easy way to say thank you, and I really appreciate it. I have other easy WW recipes. You can check this one out. And I'll see you again next time. Bye!